Welcome to PDT Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the PDT Podcast, where we make you go bananas for our dramas.
These
Sounds really bad.
this
Yeah, I mean, it
spit
doesn't sound
is
legal.
bananas. BONAN.
Bard Pitts.
Bonan. Bard Pitts. Bard Pitts. Yeah, he's like a D&D
times I've been
character. A bard.
A few times I've been around Bard Pitts.
And he made me lunch, and it tastes like
like
sticks.
Okay. So,
Bard Pitts. Can we explore that just a little bit?
that's a good t-shirt. I'm actually going to write that down.
Bard Pitts.
Bard
and
Pitts.
he's like, he's got one of those caps with a feather in it.
He's always eating in every movie, but he has a song. He has one song, and it's called "What's in the Box," and he plays.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
And it's just
What's
a
in the
box
What's in the
that he
box?
drums on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look out
Bard
for that
Pitts.
boy.
Okay, he's not. Stop doing sit. I sit on you.
It's not the drum Donkey Kong game. You need to take a chill.
Yeah, man, that game was great.
Yeah, there was a guy who hooked up Dark Souls and played all the way through Dark Souls with one
On
of
the
those.
bongo drums.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I think I did see
I
that.
feel sorry for that guy. Like,
There
is
were
he that lonely?
there were also some
Yes.
where they like hooked up bananas or something
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
some
And you
electric
could, like-
sensors.
It was electrodes on bananas, and he would just like smash the bananas. Then there was a guy who played Overwatch on a microwave.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
I did
was-
see that.
I bet he
Yeah,
was
that's funny.
terrible.
Well, yeah. But then there was let's see.
T-Racer.
There was a guy who had the record for beating Dark Souls with the most controllers.
Mhm.
So he used like the bongos, he used the bananas, he used a Guitar Hero guitar,
Oh wow!
which sounds terrible.
That does not sound fun at all.
It doesn't sound even
Like none of that sounds fun.
I think he somehow mapped the microphone to something.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Can you imagine him just like yelling into a microphone to control this character?
Yeah,
You
like
walk
different
in,
frequencies or
Right.
like different
Yeah.
movements or something.
his friend walks in and he's like, "Get out!" And his character kills himself.
Get out! His character just explodes.
Yeah, it glitches and then he has to reset the console.
But this is a good segue into our topic that
What's
we
that?
have to thank Tom for.
I got it from my daddy. I got it from my daddy. I got it.
Hey, where'd you get that body from?
I got it from my daddy. I got it from my daddy. I got it.
Hey, where'd you get that body from?
I got it from my daddy. Daddy. I got it from my daddy.
Which
Yeah.
is gaming.
yeah, gaming.
Games.
Mr. Gaming Watch.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that today, and we actually are going to talk about it today.
In fact, we should start with it.
We're going to start with it even.
Before
And
we
then
get into it,
saw
we'll
some of the
say
movies.
we'll give our shout out to Tom.
Daddy.
Follow him on Twitter. He is at
Daddy.
At Greenwald Tom.
Greenwald Tom. Yeah,
Daddy.
like it sounds.
Yeah. It's pretty
Go give
straightforward.
that boy a follow.
You know,
He's a pastor.
he's a al pastor
Yeah.
with vegetables, usually on like a menu at Chipotle. Or
Yeah, he
something.
works with a lot of brain dead people.
Oof, vegetables.
Mostly
Yeah,
us.
I got it. I got it the first time.
I wish I was Britain dead right now.
All right, let's keep it on
Let's
track
start
here.
over.
Let's start, starting over.
For the fifth time today.
No. That intro that we nailed right there going in was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we got that one. Okay. So
That one's
beyond-
going in the history books. Of
Beyond the
best
games.
PDT intro.
Beyond the games, we're going to talk about some movies we saw last week, and we have some stories from the
There's
week.
a new movie that I want to see.
There is a new movie. There are a couple new movies.
Which I imagine we'll also have time for.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the stories from the week.
Yep.
And then
maybe we have
wherever.
some stories from the week, and wherever the discussion leads.
So what we're saying is that this form of this particular podcast is going to be kind of like a free form, talking about whatever we want to talk about, which is in fact
Yeah.
90% of PDT episodes.
Kind of like your freshman psychology class.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna spook the spit.
Spook the spit. Yeah.
Spook the spit.
Spook the spit.
Yeah.
Damn.
not spoot the spit. So we're gonna start with gaming. Thank you. Shout out to
Gaping.
to-
Gotta be careful
Don't
with
call
that one. Gotta be careful with that one. Sorry.
Don't
Didn't think it
Google
through.
that.
Didn't think it through.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about so
Everybody's favorite? No, let's not. Oh, Windows Defender summary. Hey, it
Is
is.
your laptop
No threats.
defended?
Yeah, my laptop is defended.
You're welcome.
Let me mute this
Infiltrated
biz so that we don't have to deal with that anymore.
It's not being defended at all.
not well.
Your laptop
Alright.
is it's dead.
So let me start off this discussion
empty.
of GAMS by saying that I think was it last episode that we were talking or that I mentioned that I wanted to start building a gaming table, or was it the episode before?
It was last week.
Okay, yeah. So I actually
Okay.
have started building
So,
a gaming table,
Gaming.
a gaming table,
Game Bing.
gaming table, and
don't
Gambling
Google that.
it's
either.
been fun so far. I came up with a design that was like I did a lot of looking into like really high end, fancy, expensive custom gaming tables from like
Nice.
mostly Germany because that's where all the games are.
Because that's Germany just likes to do everything. Like
Yeah.
on the dial that goes to 10, Germany's like, you want a table? What if I turn the dial to 50 and gave you the ultimate experience
The
of your
ultimate
life?
gaming
They have a
table
table
experience.
where you play Pong against each other, and you have your hand on a small panel, and when you get scored on, it electrocutes you.
Nice. Yeah.
I really want that.
Yeah,
Not
I
for
thought
me,
that
you
was
make it.
Mexico City though.
I mean, they probably do have it,
Sounds like
but
from
it's
Rick and
not.
Morty.
It's
Yeah.
not a metal panel with Pong. It's just
It's just you electrocute yourself.
right.
just an
It's just a
electric
bunch of exposed wires.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
different strokes.
for
Anyway,
different L folks.
L folks. That is the technical
Yeah.
term. So
Term.
I did. Let me real quick. Oh crap! I don't have my internet up. Look up for me the Hex table, the Hex gaming table. No, the Hive gaming table. That's what it is. And tell me the name of the company that makes it, because it should be like the first result. But anyway, I want to shout out to this company because they make really, really awesome gaming tables.
Rathskellers?
Yeah, Rathskellers, that's it. They make really cool stuff, and like, yeah,
This is
it
really
looks
cool.
dope. And those are fancier than the thing that I'm trying to make. I'm sort of, they've done a pretty good job of marrying form and function. I'm kind of
Yeah.
just like going mostly for function
Yeah,
with
hey,
just a
when-
little bit of form.
When y'all are done listening, go check out this place because it's stellar.
It's really dope.
Y'all homies can't afford
now,
it.
yeah, that's true. You probably can't afford it, and you can't afford the exorbitant shipping
Do you
costs that
have
it would.
euros?
Yeah,
You can pay for it.
right.
I have Trinidad and Tobago dollars.
Hey, well, that's the
You
start.
also can't afford it.
No.
But anyway,
Afford it
they
in
have
class,
these amazing
it's
gaming
worth like
table
a
designs,
20th of a dollar.
and I was like, I should incorporate some cool things into this table, and so
Yeah.
I sunk down the middle of it about 1.5 inches, and I'm gonna line that part with some. I don't have the coin, as it were, to pay for like really high quality like pool table felt, so I'm using some foam pads that I got from Amazon, or you could get at Hobby Lobby, and those should be
How much
cheaper.
does felt cost?
Like high quality felt, a lot. I don't know offhand.
Which is weird.
But
How do you buy it? By like the yard?
I mean, they probably have.
A centimeter?
No, I bet you they have the spools of it, or you could buy it by the yard.
Right. Anyway.
But I wasn't gonna even try because like I looked into buying felt just from like Michaels or whatever, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this would work fine." And then I got on some gaming forums, and they were like, "That stuff is terrible. Like you get
Don't use it."
crumbs in it, and like it's hard to clean because you know when you're playing D&D, you always got a bag of chips
Or a pencil.
or a pencil next to
Or
you."
dice?
But anyway,
you
so the
eat.
way that I have the recessed area there, but I'm also making leaves to go in top, like to slide into it, so that it could just be a giant table. But around the outside, the band and the face, I am doing these embedded cup holders and a little like what did I call it the other day? I came up with a really snappy name for it. It's just like a place to keep your dice and like
Tray.
a tray. I mean, sort of. It's just like a
cubby. A recession.
we'll call it a hubby. We'll call it a cubby.
We'll call it a husband.
Yeah, it's nice. And there's enough like flat space on it that you can write your
Nice.
D&D stuff.
Spouse.
But yeah, so I've been into doing that lately.
Nice.
But yeah, mostly what kind of got me. We'd been into doing some D&D stuff lately. Torin wrote us an amazing like
When?
entry level like zombie campaign
Oh,
that we
yeah,
did a
that.
while ago.
Almost a year ago at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Realistically, it's pretty much straightforward packaged. So, I mean, theoretically, I could like compile the pieces and then write instructions, and then anyone could run it
Right.
with anyone.
If he ever wants to sell that, and if we ever get our
Right.
online store going,
Yeah.
we'll
Maybe
sell the
that'll be part of
PDT D&D,
PDT D&D.
which we'll call PDT PDT.
PDT and PDT. P and P and D and D and T and T.
Ugh. Yeah.
You don't want to get rid of
okay.
the
Or
D.
zombies.
Just Zangy.
We'll call it Zangy and Zang.
Zambombos.
But we did that. That was sort of the intro to it. I mean, but I've been into like kind of board games and stuff my entire
Role-playing.
life. Like we did. I mean, I don't know about role playing. I did LARP once, which was amazing.
Did you really?
I mean, not formally, but like me and my friends were playing video games at John Naz's house, and he has these Nerf swords and trash cans.
So after
and so
you were
we,
done, you
after we were
realized you're
done
like,
playing video
We
games,
LARPed.
yeah, no, it was it. Like some people grabbed some swords, and we were like walking around outside, like bashing each other with it, and we ended up forming teams somehow. And
Are
then
you talking about battle games?
I am talking about battle games.
Because we don't do tabletop.
We don't do tabletop here.
We only do battle games.
10 out of 10 reference that
Yeah.
no one who listens
Yeah, that's
understands.
true.
Yeah, we get it, and we'll have ourselves a nice little chuckle right there.
If you want to understand this,
We should talk about that at some point during this podcast.
right
should.
now,
Okay, we'll talk about it right now.
very
Okay.
briefly.
So if you go to the Quick Trip on, what is it, Johnson Drive
Drive.
in Quivira,
Yeah.
yeah.
there's a place that looks
Tucked
closed
away.
behind it called Hypercomputer and Battle Games.
Question real quick. Is that the greatest store name of all time?
No.
I disagree. I think it
I
is.
think
the
greatest
most
story name is,
descriptive.
like,
Okay.
that's very true.
Oh, what do you sell here?
Hypercomputer and battle games.
And they're like,
But
do you mean
thing is-
tabletop? And then the owner explodes.
and then the owner gets just like eye rolls so hard that his eyes
Become
roll back
dislocated.
into his brain, carve out like little grooves through his brain, go down into his chest, come up through the bottom of his face, and back into his eye sockets.
He almost dies every time.
Yeah.
we drove past it like for a year, probably.
Something.
Like when you would come into town,
Yeah.
we'd always go to that QT at some point,
Yeah.
and then at night, all it is just like a light on,
Yeah.
because they have like decorative lights in there,
Right. There's some like neon in
Right.
there.
And so whenever we drive past, we'd be like, "Oh, we should go in there sometimes, just
What
to
is
like
it?
see
'Cause
what it
we
is."
didn't know
Right.
what it was.
Hypercomputer
So
and battle
mysterious.
games.
Yeah.
And so we finally went in because this was after we'd started getting into D&D, and so part of me was like, maybe they have something there that we can like. And at the very least, it's like a cool store that we can look at.
Right.
Boy, were we wrong.
Turns out there's nothing cool about that store.
Not even actually anything.
Yeah.
The coolest
I mean,
part
I
was that they had a
enjoyed it.
Tetris machine.
Right. Yeah, that was pretty
But
dope.
the issue is that the owner had all the high scores on it because
Because he gets no business, so he just sits around and plays games all day.
I'm
That
touching my nose
and-
and pointing at you.
And
Thank you.
he is one of those kinds of people that has to have the high score on it. Like,
So if someone walked in and played Tetris and they were like, "Oh, sweet, I got the high score," and then left, he'd reset the machine and then set a new high score.
yeah.
Yeah. That's the kind of guy.
Anyway, that's Charlie Red.
That's Charlie Red.
We ended
Charlie
up finding
Red,
out his name.
If you're listening to this,
And you sponsor the PDT podcast.
And you like to sponsor, if Hyper Computer and Battle Games wants to sponsor the PDT
If
podcast,
we haven't pooped on your store enough yet,
We-
you still want to sponsor us.
when we hit the big shot, we'll have a LARPing event
Yeah.
and
We'll buy our
invite
supplies
you, I
from-
guess,
We'll invite you, and you will just beat people up.
as a guest.
Yeah.
So
and
it's
you have to
okay.
pay us $20.
But
So let's set the scene a little bit. When we walked in,
it's a Tuesday. Actually, I don't remember what day
it was a weekday.
It was a weekday,
Maybe.
and it was day.
It was day.
Right.
The setting is set.
And so Graham and I walked in, we were just looking around, and we both and this guy emerges from the back of the store. And
Ponytail.
and
Wait, did he
all.
have a ponytail? Or am I just projecting
You're
that?
projecting
Oh,
that,
okay.
actually, yeah. He probably had a ponytail at some point.
I'm sure.
But after somebody was like, nice ponytail, he was like, oh, but so he emerges from the back, and I think before we walked in, we made some comment of like, who works here, and we tried to visualize.
Yeah, we were kind of placing
Right.
gentlemen's bets
Right.
on what
And
kind
we
of
were
person worked here.
both sort of wrong and right.
Right. I don't remember what we said.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But so he comes out and says, "Can I help you with anything?" And we were like, "Yeah, we're just kind of looking around. We like driven past this place a lot. We wanted to see what it actually was." And he was like, "Okay." And so we wander in and we sort of look around, and there's like a computer section, which is the biggest part. And then in this side room,
Yeah, we saw the hypercomputers first, which
Right.
was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Maybe he sells intense software and hardware for these strategy games or whatever
Right.
that you want to play, StarCraft or whatever.
Right.
That would
or
make
just-
sense.
and
Battle
I think he
games.
I assumed he also repaired computers as
yeah,
well.
because he had a lot stashed in the back.
Right.
too.
And so it was basically like a normal computer store.
Mm-hmm.
And then we walked into the battle games.
You turn left.
Right. You turn a hard left in the door and go in through another door.
And you enter a fantasy world.
Right.
Narnia.
Yeah.
Full
It's not
sword.
Narnia.
It's not-
There's just
there's just like
LARPing gear everywhere.
right. And there's even I remember there being pictures of him using the gear.
Oh no.
On the
in the
walls.
store?
Maybe I'm misremembering that.
I don't know. It's possible.
When I looked at the Facebook page for the site, which is how I found him,
Oh, nice.
it might have been a picture he had posted somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, so there was all sorts of stuff. Some of it was actually pretty cool,
Yeah, it was actually
pretty
I liked,
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
I would say,
Yeah.
he had this mask that looked like a Roadhog mask,
Oh nice.
and it was pretty well made.
Yeah,
He
it looked
had-
like real leather.
He
and stuff.
had a hat that had a very steampunky hat, which I don't really care for steampunk stuff. but I
Yeah,
thought it looked
he was
cool.
really into steampunk stuff, but
Right.
next to it was also your a pink dress for
Right.
the princess.
a bodice.
Yeah.
for a dress
or whatever.
Right.
And
Go
then
with your Roadhog mask.
yeah.
I'm the piggy princess.
I'm Princess Pig.
Yeah.
That's Miss Piggy.
Mrs.
Miss Pigsy.
Yeah.
Right.
The
So
non-copywritten version of Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
yeah. So there's also a sign that says "Don't test anything," which is sort of
Right.
absurd because all of this is foam toys.
Right.
Sorry, weapons.
And
So-
I feel I think he made all that stuff. Didn't it
Stone.
seem like he made that stuff?
Yeah, because it
That's
was it looked all very homemade,
Yeah.
duct tape,
Not that it was
And-
bad quality
and
necessarily. It
dowel
was just
rods.
yeah.
And, yeah,
Yeah, it was really crafty stuff.
right. Which is impressive.
Yeah.
The fact that he might make this stuff and then resell it was impressive.
Right.
But yeah, he had some shields that were kind of interesting.
Yeah, the shields are pretty cool.
Because it's basically just a big, thick foam pad,
Mm-hmm.
and then leather straps, and the padding is covering a piece of wood, and that was it weighed probably 10
It was heavy.
pounds. Yeah.
Man, like a real shield or something, only lighter.
Well, yeah, a lot lighter. But so we had our fun, and we started to leave. I played a round of Tetris, and I didn't do all that well. But as we were leaving, I was like, "Hey, do you have any like D&D stuff?" He's
Or
like,
I think you said tabletop
yeah,
stuff.
I started getting into tabletop. Do you have anything? We came in looking to see if you had anything for that, and he was like, "We only do battle games."
Yeah.
And like,
Really,
it wasn't like, "Oh, no, sorry, we only do battle games, so we don't have anything."
Right.
It was like, "You effing peasants."
there was a distinct air of superiority in his voice.
We only do battle games.
Battle games.
And we were like, "Oh,
Ah, okay. We're
well,
leaving.
Just checking. Have fun being alone in your store."
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
left.
Yeah, that place is fascinating. Like,
it's a weird cutout of culture.
yeah,
Yeah.
for real. We had a lot of discussions about it. Like,
We talked
in
about
the following weeks. It was interesting. And then he actually wrote Charlie Red as a what do they call it?
A villain
Yeah,
in my
a
campaign.
Dean's what's the
NPC.
NPC? Yeah, in his campaign,
Not a
which was
villain.
fun.
Maybe a hero. Depends on your
Well,
perspective.
he's a villain.
Nah, he's pretty much a
I
villain.
he's a
murdered,
villain.
I murdered that mother.
Yeah,
Well, censor that.
you're gonna flag that.
Yeah, I'm aware, but
I would love to do some more. So after that, Torin found him on Facebook, and we had a jolly old time,
We did.
like making fun of him and stuff, which
Yeah.
was,
Not great.
I mean, probably not like our greatest human achievement.
But then again, in the process of looking at his Facebook, he spoiled the ending of Rogue One for me.
Oh,
so-
did he really?
Yeah, which is sort of my fault for stalking this guy. But
Yeah, I feel like that's a punishment you brought
Yeah.
upon yourself.
we
but-
learned a lot about him through his Facebook.
And it was like some things lined up with our judgy perception of him, and some
Right.
things didn't really.
Yeah.
Like,
he had
he's-
adult braces. That lines up.
that lines up. He's, I mean, very obviously into LARPing, and his girlfriend or whoever. The fact that he had a girlfriend did not line up.
Right.
Um,
The fact that he did his own tattoo art does line up.
Yes. Yeah.
The fact that
the-
he rides motorcycles does not line up.
That was my next thing. He's
Yeah.
very into motorcycles.
Right, that
But
doesn't line up.
not on the surface, but like I feel like when you kind of think about it
The
more,
culture
like
behind it.
the just like I'm a real badass.
Right.
Like that lines up with the really intense like LARPing superiority
Oh, yeah.
thing.
That's very true.
Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. That's just
Yeah.
an interesting aside. I just recently bought this amazing game, which I mentioned on the podcast before, called Betrayal at the House on the Hill. What's interesting about it is that after we played it a couple times, I read a review about it, and I think I told you guys this, but it was like, if we've had a couple frustrating rounds of it, just because like there's a lot to it.
We
It's
played,
kind
like-
of a mess.
We've played like 3 rounds, and all of them have been sort of frustrating.
Yeah, sort of a mess. And the review was like, it is amazing if you're like going into it like for atmospheric purposes. Do not go into this game trying to win it. Like you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
Which is interesting for a game, but like it's just a fun
When I was searching
spooky
for
experience.
when I was searching for the frequently asked questions,
Mm-hmm.
it followed to like a forum post on Avalon Games like forum or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And this guy was like, there are so many rules that I'm confused by. Like, is there an FAQ?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, and someone posted in reply and was like, my best advice is to return it and get a different game. But if you're stuck with this one, then and then sent a link to
Right.
Yeah.
I think like going into it with the mindset, like, because the packaging on it makes it look real. I mean, it's great packaging. It's like a great like physical thing.
Yeah.
But like it's a mess of a game. Like, and I feel like going into it and realizing that like I could have a better time playing it. Not that I've had a bad time playing it any of the times we've played it, but just we could all be less frustrated maybe.
There wasn't really like a good or easy way of doing a game like that. Because it's basically D&D without the freedom to
Yeah.
like curate things
Yeah.
or like do things on the fly. It's pretty much like, this is how this game works. and there's like 100 different scenarios and ways it could play out.
Yeah.
And there are specific rules for each of them, but you don't know them.
Right.
Right.
And there's no real, unless you play this game like 200 times and get sort of familiar with each of the circumstances or each of the scenarios.
Right.
Like, you're never going to go into it. Because if, like, going into it, you can read once the haunt starts or whatever, like, which is essentially where the rubber hits the road and the betrayal happens. One of your team members turns evil in some way, sort of becomes a monster or whatever.
Right.
And then they have an objective at that point, and then you have an opposing objective at that point. So like until you can read a lot of these scenarios and you can say, okay, cool, I think I understand what this is or whatever, and then you actually get into it and it's like, oh man, like that, none of these things make sense to me in this context or whatever. Like it doesn't, I don't know how this works. So I feel like it's not a game that you can master or like
Unless you play it
300 times
every day for a year.
Yeah.
Right.
Even then.
Yeah. Even then, you're like, what is that dang rule?
Right. And at that point, you just kind of just hate yourself. But
Well, yeah.
but
I already
If you
do.
already hate yourself, go ahead and play.
yeah, go ahead and
Yeah.
play
You'll have a bad
It's
time.
called Betrayal on the House on the Hill.
We've talked
At the
about
house
it
on the
At the house
3 times.
And I still like it. I'm
In
still
the
glad I
house.
bought it.
of the house at the hill.
Of the house at the hill.
Betrayal
I also
in a house by a hill.
betrayal in the hill under a house with a mouse.
Mick
You know, if you give me,
If you give me a cookie.
yeah.
Betrayal of McMouse.
Oh man. I almost bought Pandemic yesterday, but
I've heard
I decided to put it on my Christmas list.
I've heard good
instead.
things about that game.
Yeah.
But it's always been too expensive.
Yeah.
$30.
I mean, I've paid more for a game, but I didn't feel good about it.
I feel like when I initially did research on it or whatever and looked at the price tag, I was at my second job ever or whatever,
Right.
and at that point just dropping $30 on something felt like a lot of money. And now I do that all the time. Not that I make buckets of money anyway.
I mean, I haven't been paid for this new job yet, so yeah.
I've stopped buying games for this group because every time I bought a game, 2 months go by and then no one wants to play it ever again. So I've stopped buying games.
Yeah. That's fair. Now it's my turn to buy the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, Torn did it. I did it. It's Graham's turn. And then we'll be done.
And then we'll be done. We'll never play another game
We'll
again.
never play
Yeah,
games.
we'll lose touch and it'll be us doing a podcast.
Oh man, that'll
And
be
seeing
sad.
Jackie and Cassie and Kyle will hang out with their dog.
Who?
And I don't know what Ashley and Keegan are doing.
Who?
They'll probably live in Venezuela or something.
I've already forgotten their names.
Venezuela's name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The name of that country?
Don't live there. It's covered in mud. Or so
Are there
I've
any
heard.
other... What else can we say about games for Tommy.g?
I mean, talk about video games or or playing
Speaking
Overwatch.
of video games,
Yeah.
there is a game coming out in like 2 weeks. It's Shadow of War,
Oh yeah.
the sequel to the Shadow of Mordor,
gonna
which
be great.
looks like
It's gonna be great.
what I'm going to throw down a really obvious thing that's going to happen. It's going to win Game of the Year
Nice.
because
Unless they really messed up from the teaser stuff.
I can't imagine. Because what you're looking at is if you played Shadow of Mordor, you got this game that was a lot of fun, then you finished it and you were like,
I wish there was like
what do I do? I wish there was more to this
6
game.
more months of this game.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you watch the trailer for Shadow of War, and you're like, what I just played was the underfunded teaser to this game.
It was
Nice.
the beta of this
Yes.
game. Right.
They took the aspect that people enjoyed the most, which was taking over your enemies' minds and bringing them to your own personal army. And they're like, what if we did that, but it was the size of the universe?
Right.
And so you've got this game where you're going to be able to control armies of orcs or whatever they are at this point. I forget. Basically
Right.
orcs.
Uruks, goblins,
yeah.
orcs.
You get to take over them, add them to your army, and slowly... and slowly conquer this whole land, which is just going to be a real 10 out of 10 game.
Sounds cool.
I'm going to buy it despite the fact that I will then have no money for the rest of the week because
Ew.
I have a 5-hour work week.
Heyo.
Unless it's this week, in which case I have a no-hour work week. So my money is sad.
It's sad.
Heyo.
All of my money wants a partner.
All of
Could
my
become a
money
writing
wants
tutor.
to
Pay more
die.
money.
Could become a writing tutor. I'm just saying.
You
You
get
gotta
to
be a
ask me to
carpenter.
do that 2 more times. And then I'm going to burn that library to the ground.
Torrin wouldn't care. Then he doesn't work there
I don't
anymore,
work there
and
anymore.
his boss wouldn't try and keep getting him to come back anymore.
I've been asked by you,
My boss would probably be
one of my
relieved.
professors, and when I went in to get writing help for one of my papers, they were like, your paper doesn't need any help. Do you want to work here? And I went,
Wait, who'd you work with?
I don't even remember.
What'd
Because
she look like? And I
Man,
say
I
she
don't even
because I know
remember.
it's she.
yeah, I don't even remember. Because I walked in and was like, hey, I want extra credit for my paper. Can you just, like, glance at this? And they were like,
We'll talk later.
yeah. And so they glanced at it and were like, yeah, we'll give you that sheet so you can get extra credit on your paper. And so they're like, hey, your paper's fine. Do you want to work here? And I was like, not even a little bit.
But why?
And I was like, oh, I knew Torrin. And they were like, oh. And I went, no thanks. And I left.
Fair enough. My boss is gonna send me an angry email. Being like, what have you been saying about this job?
That you work hours.
Yeah, I mean,
I already have a job that pays better, I imagine.
well, yeah.
Hourly plus commission. I imagine you don't get commission off of editing papers.
Wish. I don't even get to accept tips unless they're plates of cookies.
Someone
or
should
a
make
loaf
you...
of bread.
Yeah,
I did get a
we
loaf
brought
of
you that
cornbread.
loaf of bread, man.
No, there was a separate
You
person.
ungrateful
Oh my
swine.
God.
There was a separate
More
person.
than one loaf of bread?
Someone brought me a big hunk of cornbread.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Oh,
You're like,
Okay.
thanks?
but it wasn't
Great,
like
man.
it wasn't like classic cornbread. It was really cakey,
Mm.
Huh.
which was kind of weird.
So it was like if you'd eat it with dessert chili.
I had
Dessert
I
chili.
had,
That
like-
sounds great.
I had
Actually.
like half
nah,
of it.
maybe
And then
not.
it was
It's
like
chili with sprinkles.
I had like half of the hunk, and then I threw the rest.
And then another time you were working, and these two guys walked in the front door with a loaf of bread from Panera.
I was working 2 weeks ago
Sorry.
at that place, and the girl that was there, Emily, she was like,
Yeah.
your friends should bring in another loaf of bread, and I was like,
Don't count on
no.
it. If you'd have worked there this semester, I would have stopped by and like, hey, do you want some fruit snacks? And you'd have been like, oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, I would have. There's a bag of fruit snacks in the vending machine at my new job, and they call out to me every day.
Yeah. I had that problem when I was at JUCO and there was a vending machine. Every day I'd look at it on my way out and be like,
Bruh.
it had only good snacks. And so I was like, oh, I'm paying money for good snacks.
Bruh.
I don't carry cash, but I would just stand and look longingly. But yeah,
So, anything else with games?
not that I can imagine. We got a good solid 30
Yeah,
minutes out of
that's
that.
pretty-
Yeah, we did.
solid
We should move on
discussion.
to something else.
Do we want to mention movie things? Because
Do we
I
have
have.
time for a sponsor? And,
Oh, we should do.
We
a sponsor.
do have time for
Could
a
do a sponsor.
sponsor.
What's the sponsor, eh?
Let me pull that up.
Right.
Diddy is not notorious. Oh, are you guys smelling my burp right now or something?
I mean, I smelled it, and then
Oh, I'm sorry.
I,
there was a
I
lot
wanted
to
everyone
it.
to know that I smelled it.
Sorry, y'all.
It wasn't that bad. Anyway,
Oh, nice. You want me to do it again?
nah, please don't. I'd rather die.
Okay.
It's actually a great segue to our sponsor. Our sponsor this week is Fast Food Incorporated.
Hey, thanks, Fast Food Incorporated.
We know what you want. Healthy, natural food that tastes great. We're here to tell you that it doesn't exist. Healthy food is for suckers. It tastes like garbage, and if you say that you like it, you're a chump and you're a liar. Be honest, this is what you want. The Splat's Dinner for Breakfast Fat Burger Mega Super Meal Deal Fatty Combo. It tastes amazing. What's in it? Who cares? How many calories? Shut up! It's awesome. Put it in your body or you're a nerd. Thanks to
Alright,
Fast Food
thanks-
Inc.
thanks,
for
Fast Food Inc.
giving us...
Appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Fast Food Inc.
That's
Yeah.
really nice.
It was-
Like
both
non-aggressive,
aggressive and rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess it was aggressive, but yeah, also rewarding. Nice.
I stopped by Fast Food Inc. last week.
yeah?
Picked up myself a Splatz dinner for breakfast, fat burger, biggest super
Really?
meal deal fatty combo.
How'd you
Did
feel?
you have it for breakfast?
No.
Oh.
That's what's so great about it.
Yeah.
It's novel.
It's dinner for
Um,
breakfast, but you can also have it at breakfast
whenever
or
you
dinner
want.
or lunch or brunch or second
Yeah,
lunch.
it's great.
yeah.
Or
tea time.
Fourth meal.
What about tea time?
No.
Nah,
Oh, not tea time.
that's just crumpets.
Crumpets.
More like
Scrumpets.
crumbing.
No.
But after you eat one of their dang burgers, you're really going to want to take a nap.
Is it because you want to take a nap or you physically can't do anything else?
That's their tagline.
Oh.
You'll want to, Fast Food Inc., you'll want to take a nap.
Yeah, put it in your body.
And then
You
little
nerd.
disclaimer in tiny font because you actually can't do anything
Right.
but take a nap after that.
Oh,
You'll
you'll eat
want
half
to
the
take a
burger. We're required to say this legally.
There's an asterisk on the want, and it's you have to take it.
You will take a nap.
You will take a nap. Or you will die.
Or you'll die.
But yeah, thanks, Fast Food Inc.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fast Food Inc.
It's always good that we have sponsors sponsor this podcast.
Yeah, it sure does come in handy for like when we want to pay the subscription fee to all the podcast hosting websites that we're on.
There's none.
There's none that we're on.
There's YouTube,
There's YouTube,
which isn't really
which
a
I guess we have.
podcast hosting
Do we have 1 or 2 or 3 episodes on? Is it SoundCloud?
We just put 2, 3, and 4. If you want to listen to 3 of the 5 worst episodes,
website. Yeah.
go take
Yeah.
a listen on
Go take a
SoundCloud.
listen on SoundCloud.
If you want to
Sorry,
listen to
Jason.
if you want to listen to the first episode, that's it's premium now. So
Go to YouTube
Yeah,
and look
just go
for
to
episode
YouTube.
1.
Primo.
yeah, it's
If
in
you
there.
want to have a worse time than you are listening to this one,
yeah,
go listen to episode 1.
Yeah, like decidedly worse than you're having.
I don't know. I have proud moments of those,
I mean, yeah, we've all had our moments. We've all
Yeah.
done all right.
and here are a few of them now.
This my shit. All the girls don't feel like this. Few times been around that track, so it's not just gonna happen like that. 'Cause ain't no holler back, girl. Ain't no holler back, girl.
I mean, maybe.
I
Remains to
think
be
we
seen.
should.
All right, we probably could.
Probably could.
So, movies.
yes. So
What do you want to talk about, Torin?
well, Graham wants to see Blade Runner 2049.
That's actually not what I was going to talk about. I do want to see that movie.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about what movie we want to see in a moment. But on Saturday, we had the pleasure of watching The Prince of Egypt,
Yes.
which is, if you were unaware, if you're listening to this and you don't know what The Prince of Egypt is, I want you to stop listening, pause, don't close the video, just pause it.
You can close the other tabs that you have open.
Yes.
I don't care about those tabs.
Yeah.
We don't care about those tabs. But you'll want to come back to this after you watch The Prince of Egypt.
Spoilers.
So after you pause this,
Spoilers. Spoiler alert, you're going to
So
want to
after-
come back.
right. So after you pause this video, go and procure The Prince of Egypt somewhere. I don't care where. And then
Red
watch
Rock.
the entirety of it. And
Front
then,
to back.
and then-
Including the end credits.
and then come
Yeah.
back and agree with us when we say that The Prince
Well,
of
let's
Egypt...
say it all in unison.
Okay.
1.
3.
Oh, hold on. We're starting with the. Okay. So 3, 2, 1.
The
3, 2, 1.
The Prince of Egypt is the
greatest
best movie
film of
ever
all
in
time.
ever times.
Decided
Nice
not to say
job
that.
up top. Oh,
They missed.
there we actually got that one.
So,
The Prince of Egypt is the Tom Brady of movies, but without all the cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
hell yeah.
Listen
There
to
it
that,
is.
Tommy.
So,
Tommy
yeah.
Dog.
The Prince of Egypt is the greatest cartoon musical to ever come out. Is the greatest biblically based cartoon musical.
How about let's go? You're going more micro. Let's go more macro. The greatest piece
musical.
of media of
The
all time.
greatest. Moses is the hero of a generation.
Yeah, we've got like
Mostly
if we're
generation
talking
of
epic stories,
Israelites
like
and
or just
Egypt
pieces of
in that
media,
specific time.
we've got like maybe so hovering around here around your chin. Let's say Tolstoy's War and Peace. Up around your nose, the Bible,
that's
the
way
Holy
lower.
Bible. Up around the top of your head,
The scalp.
we'll say like what, like
Shrek
I don't know,
2.
Shrek 2, and then up way above the ceiling, like up on top of the Empire State Building, that's where the Prince of Egypt is. Way
Egypt.
better than Shrek 2.
Yeah.
The fact that you have a bunch of like white people playing Middle Eastern people, that's really cool.
I love that.
You
Jeff
have
Goldblum.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
You've-
Jeff Goldblum though.
You've
The
got
goat.
the Goldblum, the Goldblumiest Goldbluming
Right.
that's ever Goldbloomed.
Yeah,
You have
love finds a way.
Val Kilmer, who does
Minus
the voice
the usual
for
nips
Moses and God.
and God.
You've got Sandy Bullock doing
Yeah.
the voice. You've got on the soundtrack Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston really slamming out a song.
Really, just like
They're just really like just slamming it.
really, just kind of.
Anyway,
So continue, Torin.
Uh,
I'm interested to hear the rest of your thoughts.
but despite all of that, despite
All of its greatness.
all of its greatness, it surpasses even more by making the story of Moses and his people and the letting them go of and the plagues a musical event.
A musical event.
Have you ever written an
And-
essay and you're trying to meet a word count?
Yeah,
This is what just
that's
happened.
exactly what I want. Oh man.
and the letting go of.
And the letting go of. Yeah,
What
and
was the subject?
Nah.
and let's not even. And it's not just like a musical event. Just like they're not using any kind of filler songs or
No.
anything here, people. These are #1 hit show tune singles.
Yes.
Like
I'm glad that
I'm actually surprised that there was never actually a real live stage production of this thing because the
Imagine
songs
there
are
was.
so good. There actually wasn't. I looked it up.
Yeah.
Because I
good.
thought that there would be, but there
I'm
wasn't.
surprised. I guess the special effects might be tough.
I guess that's true.
The plagues might
let's
be a
make it
little...
rain frogs.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, that might be some sort of...
I think my favorite part about that movie is although they casted Jeff Goldblum, they made sure he never had to sing.
Yeah, they made sure to,
Very true.
to limit
Aaron was
his-
like, oh, "Wait, Moses. Wait.
Love finds a way.
Are you love? Finds a way."
Yeah,
That wasn't a very good Jeff Goldblum.
It wasn't.
Love finds a way. That wasn't a very.
Welcome
good
to
Jeff
Earth.
Goldblum.
Oh no, that's
Welcome to Earth.
that's Will Smith from Independence Day.
Williams Smithsum. Yeah.
Anyway,
Same.
but Jeff Goldblum, they don't give him much of a chance to Goldblum all over the movie.
They keep it pretty, just like
Yeah.
Coming from the
non-gold.
guy
he
who
plays-
just said the most gold bloomiest
Bloomiest
gold blooming
Goldblum
that
that's
ever
ever
gold bloomed.
But it's a lot of Aaron just like being out of the loop on things.
Which is kind of in and of itself sort of Goldblumian.
It's pretty
But-
Goldblumian.
I love Goldblumian.
Yeah.
Oh man, if I would have if only I knew then what I know now, I could have introduced that term to my film theory class when I was at FSU.
Laughed you out of the room.
It's very Goldblumian of Alfred Hitchcock to do this.
In Birds, I thought that woman's performance in
And
the phone booth,
in that,
where Alfred Hitchcock was mentally scarring her,
yeah.
pretty Goldblumian. I think.
I feel like in that movie, The Bird, The Big Bird,
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street, Jeff Goldblum had his day. All right, let's cut that out.
I'm spent.
So, oh
I'm
jeez,
done.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Cut it all out.
No, it's fine. Okay, I mean, we can just flag this entire section. We'll take a close look at this entire section.
Yeah,
Right after
Um,
it'll be
the movie.
under heavy revisement
Yeah.
or revision.
Revision,
as they call it.
revisement.
So-
Were there any other movies that you wanted to mention, Torin?
And we watched Troll 2.
Troll 2 is a classic.
It was Graham's bird day. It's celebration. And
Yeah.
so we watched a good movie. Well, we watched a bad movie.
And then the greatest movie ever.
And then we watched a good movie, which we weren't even planning on doing. But yeah, Troll 2. It's some real vegetarian propaganda. Sorry.
I would actually
Carnivorous
say,
propaganda.
yeah, that's some like I called it. You know how they've got big tobacco.
Yeah.
I'm explaining my joke here before I say it. It's big
Meat.
meat. Yeah,
There was a lot of big meat in this.
there was a lot of big meat propaganda in
I'm
this
really
film.
glad I passed on watching it.
It was hilarious.
It wasn't really all that gruesome, unless you count
I mean,
plant meat.
I
It
didn't
was.
skip on it because it was gruesome. I skipped on it because I thought it would be bad.
There
Well,
was a
what's
lot
bad?
of
Trolls 2 with exactly 0 trolls.
yeah. There was
I mean, yeah.
what was weird about the gore was that it was all just green slime.
Yeah.
Like Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
It-
yeah. It was like a Nickelodeon
Except
movie.
much more like,
Straight to DVD.
viscous.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like they definitely looked at a different movie doing gore and then did the same thing with green and
it's
lime.
like, okay,
tones.
how about let's make it green? Also, we have to feed them green cake for some reason.
Right.
Because it's made out of vegetables. Why
Because
couldn't you
at
just give
some
them a
point-
carrot cake?
At some point all they
I
do
guess it's probably a root. But
all it does is that people like dissolve into just piles
yeah,
of green.
of like
And so
vegetable
you can
matter.
see parts where they're supposed to be like eating it.
Yeah.
But it's just sort of they're just like smearing the green around.
Piles of Green is my favorite album by Green Day.
Piles of green.
Piles of green.
That's my favorite Walt Whitman collection of poems.
nice.
Yeah.
Piles of green.
My favorite short story by Jack
My favorite
London.
Robert Frost poem.
Piles of green.
Man, Piles of Green is getting way too much mileage.
Yeah,
not a play.
it's not even that good.
It's not.
But Troll 2 is a lot of fun. I had a blast watching it in the same way that I have a blast watching The Room. And
It's a
movies
good-
like
It's a good
like
terrible
that.
movie Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely.
Terrible movie Tuesday.
All right, so there are a couple movies that I want to see
This
soon. Is this all right to segue into this now?
The fall movie preview a week late.
The
2
fall
weeks
movie
late.
preview, a week late.
The-
Actually, this one of the movies that I'm gonna say, I do want to see Blade Runner 2049 really, really badly. I won't. We watched Blade Runner recently. I don't want to talk about it. It was good. I enjoyed that movie.
I like it.
But Blade Runner 2049 looks like it's gonna be fun. Probably more action packed than the original Blade Runner.
Well,
I'm just guessing.
it's more updated action
Yeah, probably so.
because the original Blade Runner had a lot of like 90s, 80s action, which is not as fast paced as today's action.
Right.
Right.
Um,
Because it's all
I'm
jump
assuming.
cuts and blurry cam. And,
I don't think that Ridley Scott is as much into just like 100% subtextual movies anymore. Like basing that statement off of all of his recent Alien franchise.
Alien Covenant.
Yeah.
And Prometheus.
Like
Classic.
there's
Yeah.
he likes himself some exposition these days, I think, which is fine. I mean, I still
likes
enjoy
himself.
those movies. Yeah,
Period.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's one movie that I want to see really bad. I also just today, thanks to this terrible website called Reddit.com, I came across a trailer for a movie called Annihilation. Did you see this?
I saw.
Heard of
I didn't see the trailer.
Yeah.
But I saw that there was a trailer.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. It's got Natalie Portman in it.
Which is usually good.
Yeah, that's a solid sign.
Except
It's
for
also
that
got.
Ashton Kutcher movie.
I actually heard that was good, but I never did see it, so I can't really say. What were we talking about a few minutes ago? Nice. This movie, Annihilation, also has Benedict Wong in it, who is great. He played Wong in Doctor Who. Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And he's been in a few other things
Benedict
lately.
Wong.
Yeah.
I thought
and
you were gonna say Benedict.
Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch? No.
Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin or whatever. Yeah.
I'm like, what's that batch? Anyway, but so this movie is based off of it's like the first of a it's a trilogy that this guy named Jeff Vandermeer wrote, called I just had it pulled up, the Southern Reach trilogy. The first movie is called, or the first book is Annihilation, the second one is Authority, and the third one is Acceptance. Looks really interesting. It's like, I mean, the trailer for the movie is kind of just like, it's just a teaser. Like, it's just a lot of like Natalie Portman kind of going into this like sort of alien-looking void, and they're like these weird creatures, and they're interviewing her in the trailer, and they're like, what happened in there? And she's like, I don't know. And they're like, was it like a carbon-based being? And she's like, I don't know. And also, something, I've lost my husband. So already you're like, okay, the emotional impact is there. But it looks really interesting. And so I actually just downloaded the audiobooks because I listen to audiobooks a lot at work. And so I'll be maybe chiming in on how those are going later on in the week. It looks like this series was written... Actually, it looks like it just came out in 2014, which is really quick turnaround for like book to movie.
Depends on how big it was sensationalized.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Because if you think about like The Fault in Our Stars, that came out, and within the next year they were already filming.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd never heard of this trilogy before. So anyway, it should be interesting.
It means that it was a big seller for a market.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a very focused sci-fi horror kind of thing.
Yep.
Although it doesn't look like it's going to be a horror movie. It looks like it's going to be some kind of sci-fi drama. Oh, the thing that made me the most interested in it, though,
Was Natalie Portman.
because, well, I mean, Natalie Portman's great. But the guy, the director, shoot, what's his name? Alex Garland. He did the movie Ex Machina. Did you ever see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I liked that movie a lot.
It was good. Very cerebral.
Yeah, I was actually just going to say it was pretty cerebral. So I'm stoked about that. Should be fun.
I'll have to check out the trailer.
Yeah.
As
Anyway.
should you, faithful listener.
Do it.
Or don't. I mean, we can't control you.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
Very true.
Should we wrap this up?
We're at about 52, 53, 54 minutes-ish. Sure.
Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts? Anything you want to talk about, Andrew?
Do you have a story from the week you want to tell?
Oh,
Not with a little bit of time left.
I mean, we're going to cut out about 5 minutes. Oh, my.
Yeah, we're going to cut out some. So go ahead.
Sure. So we didn't do stories of the week at the beginning because we were trying to shake things up.
Yeah, we're trying not to always lead with stories from the week because sometimes we don't have it.
Rice.
But there is a story from the week. I'm not working this week, so I don't have a schedule for this week because what's the point? But because it is the end of the month, that means I don't have access to go in and just have my schedule printed off. So I went in to go see if the schedules were done. They're not. But while I was at the mall, I remembered why I love working in the mall in the summer during the week, or if you can get overlap when people are still in school, especially.
Surprise cow.
Sorry.
That gave me a frighten right there.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Sorry.
frightened, but you both looked really frightened. Anyway, if you can get overlap into when school is going on, the mall is great because it's mostly moms doing shopping with a lot of money. And crazy people.
Nice.
End of list.
And crazy people.
And so, while I was in the mall picking up a schedule, which I didn't get to pick up, you hear kind of in the distance like a, "Where's the phone?" And we're like, what? And so we're concerned, and someone's like, should I call security because they're screaming in the mall? And someone's like, no, we're probably fine.
No, it's alright.
And then a guy pokes his head into our doorway and just yells, "Where's the sauce?" And then and he looks at us like he wants an answer, and I just pointed like down the hallway, that way.
You should have pointed at Foot Locker.
I just pointed him further into the mall and was like, that way, and he was like, okay, and ran.
Okay.
In what
Hell
world
yeah.
is popping in yelling, "Where's the sauce?"
Yeah, what kind of sauce does he want? Did he specify?
No, it's
No?
where's the sauce? And when I
Wow.
pointed further into the mall, he took that as an acceptable answer.
Jeez.
The idea,
That's
the mental
insane.
image of the guy poking his head in and yelling, "Where's the sauce?" while like grabbing the wall to poke his head around the corner,
Yeah, he was,
yelling,
like, aggressively
"Where's the
grabbing
sauce?" And when we point, he just walks further that direction.
Did he go into the next store and scream?
No, he just full sprinted further into the mall.
Just full blast, like 4:40 NFL time. Like,
Let me
up
give you
knowledge
further
of
context.
spring.
about
yeah,
this
with his
guy.
arms behind his back.
Imagine someone about 6 foot even or just under, wearing old jeans, what seems to be boots that are far too big for his feet,
Oh, excellent. And he's running.
a
making
shirt
that
with
like-
holes in it,
Oh man.
and a lab coat.
a lab coat?
Yes.
What was he doing in a lab coat?
What body did he take that from?
Maybe he was doing a scientific experiment on what sauce is the best. And so he really needed
The
to know where the
answer
sauce
is-
was.
I don't know.
Maybe he really saved
Chick-fil-A
us from
sauce,
some
maybe.
kind of disaster.
It's
Where's
we'll
the
never know.
sauce?
Yeah, like what if there
Where's
was-
the sauce?
What if there was some
Who looks
mass?
for sauce in a mall?
What if there was some mass sauce poisoning? You know?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Could he have meant alcohol sauce?
In a mall?
Yeah,
But they
good
usually
point.
say no. He
Not in
couldn't-
Kansas.
He couldn't have meant that.
No.
Yeah. Where's the sauce?
Yeah, he looked like he hadn't slept in days.
Maybe he didn't know where he was.
He's been doing too much sauce.
Yeah, he's been chugging too much Chick-fil-A sauce just right out of
probably
those.
that
You can buy
Szechuan
those like
sauce from
gallon
McDonald's.
bottles or whatever. You just...
No, it's the Szechuan
The
sauce from
Szechuan
McDonald's.
sauce. Thank you, Rick and Morty, for bringing that.
Also,
gem.
actual marketing.
Yeah.
Like actual marketing.
Wow, dude, that's amazing.
Where's the sauce?
Where is the sauce?
Wow.
That's our question of the week. Is where's the sauce?
Wow.
Hi, Wayne Wilson.
Wow! All right. Wow. That'll go at the front of this podcast.
Yeah, probably will.
Also, where's the sauce? Probably.
Yeah.
I'll just cut that.
Where's the sauce?
Where's the sauce?
So,
Wow.
I have a question from last week. The question from last week was, what's your guilty pleasure song?
Run, Devil, Run. Girls' Generation.
You better run, 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 run. 나는 못 바꿔도 찾을래. You better run.
I think that's the epitome of my guilty pleasure.
Pretty close. I feel like to find a guilty pleasure song means that you're not proud enough. You're too proud of all the music in America, and so you're ashamed of foreign music. Maybe I'm not
Wait,
explaining.
say
You
that again?
unpatriotic monster.
So if you had said like Britney Spears, but you listened to that, you would listen to Britney Spears openly,
Yes.
and so it's not a guilty pleasure for you.
Right.
But it's like you've gone so far through all American domestic music that you've looked elsewhere for something to be ashamed of.
I think
It's more like
it wasn't
you heard
like
the
I
song and you
actively.
liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't
Right.
like I actively sought it out as a guilty pleasure. It was like I heard the song, I loved it, and then in my limited experience with playing it for people,
A deep shame.
people just give me this like this sort of like mouth slightly agape, just kind of like a slight bit of disgust. And I don't think I think when people listen to, there is something to your point though, because I think when people listen to like K-pop or like any other like
watch Korean television.
culture of culture's media or whatever, there's
Right.
like an inherent like, especially I'll say this, especially with like Asian culture and stuff, because of like the infiltration of anime into American pop culture and stuff like that. Like it's
Sure.
got this sort of connotation that isn't cool. by any means.
Well,
Like
you're right.
I love anime, and I love some Korean pop
I
music.
want to rephrase what you're saying.
Okay.
It's not that it's not cool. It's that I think most people, I'd say 50% of people who are into watching TV shows have like one cartoon or anime that they really enjoy.
Sure.
It's just that mainstream, if you were to group everyone, they'd all go, no, I
Sure.
don't watch insert anime or cartoon.
Right.
Where it's like, I think at least half the population like some form of anime or cartoon.
Right.
But because there's another 50% who doesn't,
It's just the sort of like it's the social stigma, but the social stigma doesn't really have a leg to stand on.
No.
Yeah.
Well, the social stigma comes from other social stigma, where it's like they said anyone who still watches cartoons as an adult is bad.
There's that too.
Even though there's
Yeah.
like Cowboy Bebop, which is a very adult themed
Right.
cartoon,
and really like it's got some pretty like
it's pretty serious.
yeah.
It's not really like
it's got some like
Freaking-
interesting complex themes in it.
right.
Yeah.
Like it's artfully done, and so it's like basically one thing was said, and then somehow it got like carried over onto like 6 other things.
Yeah.
And then it was suddenly anime is exclusively for this group of people.
Right.
And it's like, if you're watching Sword Art Online, you're the same group of people who watch Gurren Lagann.
Right. Yeah. Which I feel like there's maybe on one side there's Sword Art Online, in the middle there's Gurren Lagann, and then on the right side over here there's stuff like Cowboy Bebop,
Right.
Samurai Champloo. Maybe you can like Evangelion's probably like somewhere in between those. Although I think the themes are way like
Ghost in the Shell.
yeah,
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Not ScarJo version.
Right. I haven't seen
Yeah.
it. I do want to
seen
see
it.
it though.
Hmm.
Like I would be
A
into
small part of me
having
would be
the
okay with
visual
watching it.
feast.
Visual Feast.
Visual feast.
I think it's going to serve a similar aspect as the Avatar movies did, where you're going to watch it and be like, this is an aesthetically pleasing movie to look
Yeah.
at.
Sure.
But then Avatar just made me want to eat a salad.
Yeah. I want to eat a
I
salad.
don't think
right
that. I don't think
Yeah.
that Ghost in the Shell is going to make me want to eat anything.
It's one of those movies you can really enjoy on mute.
the
totally
live
true.
action one.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Ghost in the Shell?
Uh-huh.
No.
Oh, you're
in,
just
in reference
I
to
see.
Avatar.
I see. Yeah.
It's like if you
right.
watched
You get the
Avatar
gist
on
of
mute,
it by
it's-
visuals.
you
Yeah.
could pretty much just like have it on as a screensaver.
Yeah. I
and
mean, it
just
would
have, like,
function the
bright
same way.
colors and like
the devastation,
blue alien creatures running through this fluorescent
Yeah.
landscape.
that weird
It's-
hair sex they have.
Right. I mean, that's pretty steamy. Not gonna lie, made me a little hot under the collar. Am I right, ladies?
I'm fanning myself.
Yeah.
Just the ladies.
Just the ladies. But yeah, like it's like, okay, man, these amazing visuals, like this 3D art. Oh, there's a big bad, like very obviously big bag military guy.
Right.
Oh, they're tearing down some of the forest. I know how this
second-
story goes.
What do you
I
mean?
saw
You mean
Pocahontas, right.
unobtainium didn't grip your
Oh my
interest?
god, unobtainium's the worst name
Yeah.
for a. Yeah, that's
It's
They're
basically
making a
like
second movie.
generic.
yeah, I heard.
It's basically just generic big businessman.
Yeah, it's the
Hi,
business
right.
factory.
I'm big businessman. I want more business. Obtain business.
Did
I
I
would
did I
like-
make it clear? I've kind of like put morals aside. I just want my thing.
Right. I would like more business. And since I have run out of opportunity to get business, I'm going to take other people's business.
Right.
Hey military, go get business.
I have business that I can pay military with.
And then the military comes down to the natives and yells, "Where's the sauce?"
Where's the sauce?
We're
Which
business people.
yeah, which I don't think is necessarily like a bad story to tell inherently.
No.
It's just like been done to death,
It's
and
like-
like it could be done in like interesting ways,
More
probably.
artful ways, more
Yeah.
complex ways.
Yeah, or maybe subtle ways, but no.
Or you could go the Avatar route
Unobtainium.
and go, let's see. We could name it a new thing, make a scientific sounding word, and then Gavin Beckham goes unobtainium and puts a check mark on the board,
people are just
permanent
like,
marker,
wait.
and everyone's like,
because
we can't
it's
unwrite that.
unobtainable.
It's unobtainium. And then there's just a pause in the boardroom, and then he's like, explain. And then they're like,
I don't get
they
it.
can't obtain it. And he's like, and then he just marks it.
And he's like,
Oh, okay. Well, I have to
Check.
choose this one now.
Right.
You understand?
And then when he pitches the movie, so they're looking for unobtainium, and they're like,
Oh yes, unobtainium. I
Because you
understand.
can't-
I understand.
because they
that on
can't
that?
obtain it. Because they can't obtain it.
I like how it was hard
He's
to
like,
get,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
the general having like a rock the size of like a whole foot just spinning on
Yeah.
his desk, and I was like, it's worth billions of dollars.
Well,
Why?
so, and then they had
a real power
a
move.
slick dressed, money important business boy,
Right.
and then they had strangely racist, big beefy military man.
I think the racism plays in with that trope of person.
Right. It's basically just a caricature and another caricature.
Right. And then another Sigweave.
Right.
The
Yeah,
classic,
Sigweave,
like,
who's the
oh man,
liaison.
I'm the. Yeah, exactly.
I'm functioning in this abusive system because I want to take advantage of its resources.
They're like, hey,
And
we're
then-
making a space movie. You
Betray.
want to be
and
in
and
it?
it's really spun that like that cause is the good one, which I mean is interesting. To
Hot
me.
take.
Actually, it's not
Avatar
interesting.
2.
That's just like
not
old
really
hat.
interesting.
Avatar
Right.
2 is going to be better than the first Avatar movie because they'll be forced to not focus on look at this new world.
Yeah.
So they'll be forced to come up with a story.
It'll be less of a set
So
piece.
it will be either infinitely better, or you'll be like, wait, didn't I just watch this movie?
Like 10 years ago at this point.
2013.
It'll be James
Yeah.
Cameroning all over a James Cameron movie.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm actually, speaking of this, I'm actually going to Disney World in the middle of October. My family's flying me down.
Do you mean Disney World?
Disney World? Yeah, excuse me. And we're going to see the Avatar land in
Oh, nice.
Animal Kingdom.
Do you mean Pandora?
Oh, yeah, Pandora's Bach. Yeah.
Anyway,
Don't look in there.
so
All right.
question for this week.
Yeah.
Unless, what was your guilty pleasure song?
Oh, I actually brought it up. Farah, I Viking. Not that I'm super ashamed of it, but outside of maybe you two, I can't imagine anyone else, if they were in my car and that came on, I wouldn't be like,
That's fair. Is it like foreign metal or is it domestic?
pretty sure it's German.
Okay. That's dope.
It
Is it
starts
like
out
black
like,
metal?
No,
It's
it just
real
starts
metal.
out where you're like, okay, this song is very intense, and then it erupts into metal, and
Nice.
everyone's like,
Oh, does it start
what?
with strings or something?
No, it just
No,
starts
okay,
off
sorry.
like very just intense music. Is
Yeah,
how I
yeah,
would
yeah.
describe it.
Cool. That sounds sick.
I
I'll
think-
check it out.
Make it the outro music.
I
Or
think
don't.
Yeah, right here.
Sort of fade out. Right.
Okay.
And then, so for mine, I think I said Taylor Swift last week,
Nice.
at least previously. I don't know what I said after that. Oh, musicals.
Oh yeah, show tune.
Sweet perfumes of incense, graceful rooms of alabaster stone, all I ever wanted. This is my home, with my father, mother, brother, oh so noble, oh so strong. Now I am home, here among my trappings and belongings I belong. And if anybody doubts it, they couldn't be more wrong. I am a sovereign prince of Egypt, a son of the proud history that shows.
But I would add Weird Al Yankovic. Wouldn't be a guilty pleasure, but
I
if,
feel like in this
if I
current,
had a playlist
yeah,
and it came up, I'd be like, and I'd look over
you'd
to
look to
who's
make
next
sure
to me,
who's next to you,
right,
yeah.
and then be like,
Sonny.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
right. So the
Why
question,
is Weird Al Yankovic the horn of the music world? Like,
kind of.
if they
yeah.
were like, describe Weird Al, and you just went, everyone would be like,
Oh, Weird Al.
yeah, Weird Al.
Yeah.
What artist am I? Oh, that's
Definitely Weird Al.
Yeah. then the triangle is Enya.
Yeah. Or Sade. Smooth operator.
Drake. Because I don't want to listen to it. Anyway, so the question for
Give me a bird.
next week is, what video or song or game makes you happy?
I like that. Girls' Generation. Run, Devil, Run. Just kidding.
What's the new answer?
No, I'll come up with a new
Straight
answer.
up baby metal.
Yeah, Baby Metal's tight.
Yeah. So it's, if there's a song, like if you're feeling real down in the dumper, then
A lot of times I'll just want to wallow and I'll put on Transatlanticism.
but you want
the
to
same thing.
you want to have a good happy boy time, then
Don't Google that.
what do you don't Google that. What do you watch a video? Do you play a song? Do you play a game?
I'm gonna give
And
a
it doesn't
silly
have to be
answer
a
and a
video
serious
game.
answer.
It could be like a flash game. What's your silly and serious?
I'll give my serious answer and then segue into silly because they can connect. Two things you could do. Go to YouTube and just Google people falling down.
Nice.
Always make you laugh.
Yeah.
The other one, there is a song that I enjoy. I listen to it when I do homework sometimes. Even though it's a sad song, it's Requiem Mass in D minor by Mozart, I believe. Yeah, super good. So it's really pleasing to listen to.
Yeah.
But it's not inherently happy, but it sounds good, which makes you happy.
Yeah.
I think if you take those two and you
They probably
merge,
fit pretty well.
yeah, you get the silly answer of just playing those over each other.
Yeah.
So you get people falling to the
Yeah.
sound of Requiem Mass.
That's great.
How about you?
It's tough because, like, I don't ever...
Like, look for a way to feel happy?
No, I don't. Like, and that's...
Don't touch me. Now look up something to make you happy.
Look at all these chickens. Is that your answer?
That's
No.
the right
Okay.
answer.
But that's a good
I mean,
answer.
I will say that for pretty much a lack
So,
of an answer.
Like memes.
Yeah, like memes are,
Memes usually.
but not even that.
But
like,
not like
there's so many
memes, like
good
vines.
wholesome. No, not wholesome memes, because wholesome memes like kind of depress me
wholesome
sometimes. Like it's like, God, what the? Why?
the
are you,
deuce?
I don't know. But I will just say that YouTube video where there's the flock of like geese or whatever, and the most adorable little angel of a girl just
great.
remarks it look at all these chickens.
Chicken.
And it's so good. What's the name of that video?
Look at all these chickens.
Oh, it is Look at All These Chickens. We'll link it in the description.
If
You know,
you
we've
haven't
said
seen
that.
it somehow.
Yeah.
We've said that in other episodes where it's like, we'll put a link to it.
And then we never do.
Yeah.
Because I can't be bothered to do
No,
that.
you're fine.
We won't. Just
If
look it
I
up for yourself,
remember-
you lazy
Just
frick.
do it at Google.
Yeah.
Go to Google and just Google look at all these chickens.
It's probably literally the first thing.
It's a really pure moment.
Yeah.
Like in
It's
In
a
history.
good example of childlike innocence.
yeah. What's yours?
Literally the first thing.
Literally the first thing. I don't have a song necessarily, but there's a video of a dad who brings a box of lobsters home, and his son is absolutely fascinated by them.
I haven't seen that.
And so he'll look into the box and be like, "Wow, wow," and then he's obviously like sort of
Doesn't want to get
afraid.
too close.
a little afraid, but
right,
like
a little afraid, but also is like, I have to know what these are.
That kid's going places.
Right. And so
Healthy
the dad
curiosity.
is like putting them in the fridge, and the kid's like, wow, wow. And so the dad will have moments where he'll like bring it close and he'll be like, no.
No!
Right.
Wow!
wow.
I think if you just Google lobster
Dude.
kid, it'll probably pop up.
That's just like that's a picture of the human race right
Yeah.
there and the
Yeah.
world. That's
Yeah.
that's so good.
Right.
I love that.
And then a game. I probably don't have a game.
Games have like
It could include
games
flash
kind of make
games.
okay.
Right. Not just necessarily like video games, because video games don't make me happy usually.
Right, yeah, that's so
Right,
weird.
which
Like
is bad.
but I'm the same
You
way.
play
Like
them
I was
to
thinking
relax,
about
but
this.
they can get so frustrating so quick. So
Yeah.
you're either going to sit there and relax for hours, or you're going to sit there for exactly 30 minutes
Yeah.
and be furious.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we're a little over our time, but that is okay.
I think
this has been a good podcast.
Think about that over the week.
Yeah, think about it over the week.
For a
Tweet
Spooky
at
Spit
us.
episode is pretty good. And if you have answers to a question from last week or question from this week, tweet us, email us, comment on the video, tweet us at PDT Podcast, email us at pdtpodcast@gmail.com.
Tag us in literally anything you want us to talk
Yeah,
about.
if you have ideas for us to talk about, things you want us to talk about, things you want our humble opinions on, then mention us in the tweet or email it to us, and we will talk about it.
Once a week, we'll send out a tweet, usually Monday or Tuesday,
Yep.
asking what we should talk about. So if you're too lazy to tag us in things, wait till then
And comment on it.
and comment on it.
Yeah.
Do whatever.
Yeah.
Be
We
great
want
if it was
to-
your podcast too.
We want to talk
Yeah, we
about...
want to make it your
We want
podcast.
to talk to our fans. We want to communicate to our listeners.
So far, it's Tom and a little bit Austin.
And a couple mysteries out there.
And some...
Mystery, Weasnaw. Ooh, Torrance giving me the sexy eyebrows again.
that's the
Nala.
sign to
Insert
sign off.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
we're
the
signing
sign
off
off.
for the
So,
week.
Thank you
Have
for
a
listening.
good rest of your September. We'll see you in October.
Have a good dang
babies.
day.
Have a good dang day. Have a great dang day. That's one thing that makes me really happy is Tom Hank on Facebook.
Tom Hanks as well.
Tom Hanks
Nah,
is pretty good. But
Tom Hanks
Tom-
makes me sad. Tom Hanks makes me really happy.
Philadelphia. Real
Big.
comedy.
real comedy.
Ha, ha,
Big
ha.
guy.
Classic
Yeah.
comedy.
All right. Thank you.
Let's go.
Bye.
Bye. Good dang day.